Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I had an absolutely brilliant weekend. I made weight quite easily. I mercilessly strangled my fellow human being within a round, which was sort of the best way that fight could go. And then, to top it all off, I met an awesome person, Elvis Sinosic. Elvis Sinosic is the first Australian to fight in the UFC, I believe, as far as I can tell. If anybody objects to that, they can tell me in the comments. He also fought on the first Australian MMA card, Cage Combat, which was an absolutely nuts show, which I believe you can find on YouTube. He was really cool, he didn't mind me fanboying, and he signed my shirt and took a photo with me, which is very nice, and I think that all fighters should be quite happy to interact with their fans, especially when they're nutjobs like myself. Elvis Sinosic also has one other claim to fame. He is the first person to attempt a go-go plata in mixed martial arts competition. So, out of respect for Mr. Sinosic and the fact that he's an awesome dude, I am going to review that fight for you all now. Unfortunately, I have to stick it in a bit of a horrendous border, because Akira Maeda hates many things. They include people's orbital bones, Andre the Giant's knee ligaments, losing to foreigners, and most of all, people putting rings on YouTube. So hopefully this video doesn't get taken down. But I hope you all enjoy it, and let us watch the first ever go-go plata attempted in mixed martial arts. So, after competing in Australian cage combat, Elvis Sinosic has been brought into Japan to fight the probably biggest star outside of Akira Maeda of rings, Kiyoshi Tamura, and that is a seriously big fight at the time. So Elvis was pretty impressive at the Australian Cage Combat Championships. He beat the shit out of some Canadian guy, and then had a great little grappling match with Chris Haseman, who had been fighting in rings before losing by chin to the eye. Who the fuck does that? So Chris Haseman passed him out and then just stuck his chin in Elvis Sinosic's eye socket, which is just a brutal technique. And not something you see anymore these days, but you know, just keep that in your in the back of your mind for any self-defense situation. And we've seen Tamura warm up there, and here we have the ring introductions. Elvis Shinoshiku. I don't think they're using his actual entrance music. I think this is later dub stuff for the Wow Wow Network, or WOWO, I don't know if you say it Wow Wow or Wow 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 Wow. Oh, jumping spin kick from Sinosic. So he did Taekwondo before he got into Jiu-Jitsu, and I believe he's currently a 3rd degree black belt. Although again, if you disagree with that, feel free to say so in the comments and I will be sure to correct it. And here we have Kiyoshi Tamura, who is just so unreasonably over in Japan. And I walked out to Tamura's theme this weekend, so that was all a bit strange, seeing Elvis Sinosic when I was walking out to Tamura's theme. I was like, you're too fun, you're trying to shin choke you. But yeah, he was a really nice guy, happy to take a photo, happy to have a chat. Even though he was getting one of his guys ready to fight later on that night, he was happy to take a couple of minutes to talk to me. So that was really nice. And here he is, Tamura, best look in sort of shoot style and shoot wrestling. Just the simplicity of the red trunks and shin pads with his unreasonably shredded body. Just a great little mixture. And we can't hear the crowd noise at the moment, but I guarantee, because they've dubbed the music over the top of it, but I can guarantee you they would have been going absolutely nuts. Because they really liked it. So this will be interesting, because we've got Tamura's shoot wrestling, judo and sumo. He did sumo in high school. Versus Sinosic's Taekwondo and Australian Jiu-Jitsu. Which is, of course, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but with an Australian flavour. Yeah, so he seems quite happy to be in Japan. He's got a nice little soul patch, so you know it's the 90s. So Yuji Shimada's making sure to get a rub of Tamura's pecs there. I mean, of course he's checking to see if he's greased up or anything, but you know, that was just a bit interesting. Alright, boys have shaken hands and we're ready to go. Alright, faking jabs from Elvis here. He's oh, big leg kick there. So Tamura had an incredibly hard left kick. Frank Shamrock said that he kicked harder than Bus Rutten, so that puts something in perspective. And Bus Rutten has straight up broken new heavy bags instantly with his damn boots. So Sinosic's having some success on the outside. But listen to that damn kick! And Tamura's pulled guard after Sinosic caught it. And he's trying to kick up for a triangle, but Elvis is a pretty good grappler. So he's going to get the pass. I reckon that Elvis should have done more Japanese wrestling because his grappling style really would have fit with the restricted striking on the ground. Some of his losses in the UFC were sort of due to him being too happy to grapple on the bottom and sort of jump on submissions. Alright, so we're in a bit of a leg lock fight, and here it is! Elvis's claim to fame, the attempt at a shin choke, and they're all fucked up in the ropes, so Yuji Shimada stands them up, and Elvis isn't too unhappy about it. But so yeah, 1997, first Gogo Plata attempt in MMA, from a weird sort of half leg lock position as well. So Elvis is trying to get some striking going. Another slamming leg kick, and you can see that Elvis is already ginger on that leg, because Tamura could seriously kick. Oh. It's just shellacking that lead leg. Oh, Elvis, this is not ideal. But he's shot in now. So Tamura's going for a guillotine. Elvis has tried to pick him up, but Tamura's got the wrap, but Elvis has slipped his head out and got a nice slam going, and he's going to use that leg to pass. But he's jumping into a leg lock against Kiyoshi Tamura. He's going for a cross heel hold, which is cool, but Tamura's got the inverted heel hook, and so Elvis has grabbed the ropes. So just mucking around at the distance. Thankfully Elvis isn't getting booted at the moment. So Sinosic is a huge dude. I'm not short and he's significantly taller than me, so tall and skinny. And those damn kicks! God, Tamura could throw his leg. But yeah, Elvis isn't like that. Oh, and low, low, high. Classic combination. And Elvis is just like, oh yeah, you hit me in the face, it's fine. Just buckling that leg. Ah, massive pimp slap as well. Elvis currently, I believe he runs the UFC Gym Jiu-Jitsu program for Australia. He's on a panel show that talks about combat sports. He runs a gym called King's Academy, and he is an avid photographer. So he's a jack of all trades at the moment, sort of a Renaissance man, happy to sort of have a life after hitting people in the face. And he fought so many tough dudes. Like, you look at his UFC record, and there's not a single guy who isn't a name. His last loss in the UFC was to the former middleweight champ, Michael Bisping. And he beat Jeremy Horn by triangle armbar in his UFC debut. And if that doesn't tell you that he's a good grappler, I don't know what does, because Jeremy Horn was very interesting. And Tamura's just slamming that left kick in. It is so bad. High kick again. And Elvis goes, yeah, it's fine. So Elvis is trying to put in some front kicks. Oof, another solid left body kick from Tamura there. And another low kick. Big slap from Tamura. So Kiyoshi Tamura is an interesting character because he was a Billy Robinson catch wrestling sort of guy in the vein of Kazushi Sakuraba. But he was always a much bigger star than Sakuraba ever was, as far as I can tell anyway. Ooh, that was a slamming slap. That sounded horrible. Ooh. He's just butchering Elvis at the range here. This is not great. But yeah, Tamura was always significantly more sort of over with the crowd than I think Sakuraba ever was until Pride. And that caused him some issues because he got a bit high on his own reputation. Not to the same level as either Maeda or Takada did, but he learned a pretty significant lesson against Valentine Overeem. So Tamura was sort of the top, well, not the top dog, because Maeda was always the top drawer in rings, but he was sort of the second one on top. And he won a couple of shoot matches as well, and so he was thinking that he was the greatest thing ever, so he had a shot. Ooh, just booted out Sinosic's leg there. Sinosic. I always say Sinosic for some reason. I've got no idea why. But he had a couple of shoot matches against other Dutch kickboxers and just absolutely decimated them. So he just wasn't ready for Valentine Overeem. And Overeem caught him in a super tight guillotine. Every time Tamura would try to shoot, was booting the shit out of him at the range, and then got him in a horrifying knee bar that put Tamura out for a couple of weeks. No, not a couple of weeks, a couple of months, I think. And so Tamura had to drop the heavyweight title, and it took him a while to build up his shooter reputation again. But he always deserved it, and he was, like a lot of the Japanese like shoot fighters, he was hot and cold sometimes when he shouldn't have been. So his sort of worst loss is the one against Bob Sapp. In 16 seconds, he just gets bum-rashed by terrifying, dangerous Bob Sapp, who'd actually trained that time, according to BuzzFeed. And so, yeah. Ooh, he's been poked in the eye here, and he's not happy about it. Alright, we're fighting again. But yeah, he was, not only was he a great sort of mixed martial artist, he was also a brilliant shoot style pro wrestler. Just sort of, the way I look at it is he was hyper realistic. So rather than ridiculous sort of flying off the top rope stuff, he'd take ordinary mixed martial arts techniques and make them hyper smooth and just the sound of these damn strikes, poor Elvis. But he just make them sort of hyper smooth and hyper fast, and it just looked great. So it's a pretty shoddy double leg there from Tamura, and Elvis is pulled guard on a guillotine. But Tamura's got his head out, and Elvis is kicked up for a triangle. Tamura's going to use that to pass, probably. Tamura's weirdest fight is Nobuhiko Takada's retirement fight. Because he blasts Takada sort of in a... Well, first of all, he accidentally kicks Takada in the dick, and Takada takes like 10 minutes to start the fight again. But once he does, Tamura sort of bum rushes him, and... Takada bum rushes Tamura, and then Tamura hits this beautiful counter left hook, and Takada goes down like an absolute sack of shit. And Tamura just looks mortified. And so I'm thinking that maybe he wasn't supposed to win that way. It didn't seem completely legit. He's in Elvis's top half guard here, so he's managed to pass off that, well, half pass off that triangle attempt. And he's tying up a Kimura, and he's using a straight arm lock, and that does not look ideal. He's bent it up under Sinosic's body. 10 minutes have gone past, and he's moving it up, and he's changing it to a straight arm lock. And Elvis is tapped. And so that is the end of that match, but that was Elvis's claim to fame. The first Go-Go Plata attempted in mixed martial arts competition.